I want to go back to a couple of other questions people have. I've heard so many people say, Christmas Eve, you have a very pregnant wife, and you decide to go fishing?
Mm-hmm.
What did that say about the two of you?
Well, we had plans that evening with Mom, Lacey's mom, over at her house. Frankly, Christmas preparations were done.
What did you got her for Christmas?
Oh, a Louis Vuitton wallet. But preparations were made. Her plan for the day was to prepare gingerbread cookies. My day was open to either play golf or go fishing. I chose fishing that day, which is, a choice I made, and I obviously regret now. If I could just decide to stay home, this would not have happened.
All right, I'll go first on this one. If on Christmas Eve, if my wife is pregnant, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go fishing. There would have been a murder, and you would have seen it on the news, on those little crappy iPhone cell phone videos of my wife with a bunch of fishing poles and a tackle box. That's what would have happened. So yeah, there would have been a murder that night, but it wouldn't be me murdering her. He answers with that, Then he waits. Then there's 4 seconds. And I love this woman. I think she's awesome because she knows when not to say anything. I know she's a pro and all that, but she does exactly what we'd want her to do. She just sits there and he doesn't blink. He doesn't do anything. He's like, eh, and she says, what? And then his eyebrows go up, but he's focused hard on her. And then she says, well, what does that say about the two of you? She says, yeah, I was going to go fishing, and it's okay. And then, so then his chin starts to go down, and then he starts to talk in that childish tone, whether he's trying to talk to a child or sees himself as a child as he's doing it. I can't figure out which one it is, but nobody talks like that, And then he says weird stuff like, frankly, the Christmas preparations were done. So I don't know what he's doing at this point. I think he's just going for it. He's like, okay, I'm in. I'm going. I can't decide if he thinks he's already busted or what at this point. I can't see it on him because it's just not working. It's just not. I think it's sliding out of control for him. Chase, what do you got?
If you go back to Diane Sawyer's interviews and listen to her questions, a little around half of them aren't questions at all. They're statements. And these are what's called elicitation statements. So it's a statement that provokes a response, which is what this is. And you decide to go fishing. Then she just kind of leaves it. And he can't say his wife's name, which is interesting. And he corrects himself after he realizes, oh, shoot, I didn't say her name. And when Diane Sawyer says you have a very pregnant wife, as a coach or as an interrogator, I would have used her name very, very vividly in that moment. And I love the preparations comment, so I'll skip over it. But guilty people will tend to wish something else happened, when innocent people will be more likely to say, if I hadn't have done that, they would be alive today. So they would say an if-then statement. Guilty people are more prone to say, I wish it didn't happen that way, or I wish I hadn't have done that. And when you hear people talking about regret, just like the last video, regret is me saying something that I regret doing to provide you with evidence for my innocence. And she's a master at elicitation, either way. And I think this slimy piece of stuff is enjoying this immensely. During this dramatic pause, she asked that question, and he's sitting there, and he starts smiling. Oh, I wanted to stab my iPad screen today just watching this thing. But he gets excited when he's asked to offer up what he got her for Christmas with a smug, self-satisfied grin. I can't confirm that scientifically. That's biased. That's a biased statement. But after he says Louis Vuitton wallet, And you get the eye blocking behaviors off the charts here. Mark.
Yeah, lovely. So it turns out, I think, Scott, that you can go fishing at Christmas if preparations have already been made. just so you know,
Okay.
In world of Scott Peterson, it's totally fine. You just have to go, have preparations been made? Your wife will go, preparations have been made. And off you go fishing. All fine. I don't know where you've been. If you'd have only known that, you could have done more fishing on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. Anyway.
With a pregnant wife.
Yeah, pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
So look, very different tone of voice here, very different rhythm, and then it's gone way down. It's his lowest energy yet. He's even got some vocal fry going on, which means he's really under-energizing the vocal cords there. I think it's because he's going towards faint now. The stress is too high. We see a recovery on the Louis Vuitton wallet. Notice how the tempo changes completely and the tonality changes, because that's an easy one for him to answer. I think it's probably very true that he did buy a Louis Vuitton wallet. He's like, whoa, I can do that one. Like, that's one I can do. There you go. And he's like buoyant again, and then boom, crashes again, straight into under-energized, stressed vocal fry. We're now seeing way more sheen on his face now. I think we're seeing way more anxiety playing through on this, more perspiration. I think he's heating up because his management system around this is overheating. Oh, and it's in this one that we get that eyebrow raise at the start, which I was talking about. I think the eyebrow raise that he does at the start is he's on to Sawyer now, and he's like, I am not going in on this one until you complete your question. She got him on the last one. She's playing the same tack with him on this of like, I just don't understand it. I mean, it's not me. It's like other people have been saying this. I'm with you, but we got to deal with these other people. I don't understand why they can't get the idea that you can't go fishing on Christmas. I would let you go fishing on Christmas Day if it were me. I don't understand it. So he knows she's going somewhere with this. She goes silent. He raises his eyebrow to go, yeah, you're going to have to give me more on this. Bring in some more before I answer this one. So he's under stress, but he's a little bit wise there. Yeah, just any panelists out there watching, it is okay to go fishing on Christmas Day if your wife is pregnant, just if preparations have been made already. So just check that out beforehand. Who have we got left? Greg, what you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to take this in a little different direction. Preparations have been made came up 3 times, if I remember correctly. So yeah, preparations have been made. It didn't always look happy when he said preparations have been made. Maybe that's a sore point. Don't know. But if you bring it up 3 times, it means something. So in my world, I'm going to punch you in the face with it. I'm going to come back at you with it. That's an interrogation 101. Well, you said it 3 times, so it must mean something. And one of those times he said, but. But means resistance in some capacity. And when I hear but preparations have been made, I'm like, let's ask. Also, when he said the Louis Vuitton wallet, he did a little bit of drawing back. For me, now I'm wondering, is there some baggage around that? Was that a reason? So I'll dig in. I don't know. And if you look at him, his posture's getting smaller. I love that we all saw the, okay, give me what you got. That brow come up because he knows he's set up. I'm going to not beat this one to death. There are a whole bunch of things in here around distaste. His tongue juts out when he's talking about a couple of things in here. At 39 seconds in this video, and if you, Scott, go back and find it, you'll find there's internal conversation and a curt mouth. I mean, his lips go straight and hard. Something's going on in his head there. That's right before preparations were made the second time, if I recall correctly. And then there's a thing called embedded confessions, where people cannot get away from telling you the truth. I think we might be seeing that. This is my own assumption, and I'd have to have control of the conversation to dig into this. If I had just decided to stay home, this would never have happened. Did he choose not to go fishing, but to do something else? And that led to an argument, which led to, I would have to dig into that one, because that's an awkward set of words. Yeah, her body would still be in the house if he'd not taken the boat out. That part we know is true, based on what we've learned to date. But if I had just decided, just, If I had just decided to stay home, this would not have happened. And you see a little bit of a smile there. To me, I think there may be something there. And if I were interrogating this guy, I'd crank the heat up right there because his body is shrunken. His body is not where it was in the beginning. I'll also go back and go in the very beginning of this video and watch him as he's moving. His head movement, his eye movement, his demeanor is very different than when he's in this interview. That's what I expect as his baseline, and we're getting something prepared, canned, and this control release is coming out. So when we get down to this last piece, now crank up the heat and go after him. I think you'll get something.
I want to go back to a couple of other questions people have. I've heard so many people say, Christmas Eve, you have a very pregnant wife, and you decide to go fishing? What did that say about the two of you?
Well, we had plans that evening with Mom, Lacey's mom, over at her house. Frankly, Christmas preparations were done.
What did you got her for Christmas?
Oh, a Louis Vuitton wallet. But preparations were made. Her plan for the day was to prepare gingerbread cookies. My day was open to either play golf or go fishing. I chose fishing that day, which is, a choice I made, and I obviously regret now. If I could just decide to stay home, this would not have happened.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.